Okay, you can see my screen okay?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so I think the meeting we did last time, the test meeting for training, we used both, I think, on 1.3 and on 1.5. This was the one I think you did, where we were testing the audio video on 1.5. To go into this, so right now I'm in Firefox. And I'm going to go through the HTML piece first, just because one of the other caveats with the Word add-in is that it requires you to use Internet Explorer, one of those fun browsers that nobody uses anymore. And so that's one of the drawbacks as well. I'll point out some of the other ones, but that's a big one, because a lot of IT do not support IE anymore. They've moved to Microsoft Edge, even for Microsoft browsers, which this application does not work in. So that's a big drawback. But we'll go in through the process, the post-meeting process, and then the minutes. If I didn't do the post-meeting process last time, I can't remember. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the meeting we want to work in. So that's the 1.5 meeting for the test meeting for training. We're going to click onto it to highlight it in yellow, and then we're going to edit the archive. Now this is going to take you into the basic file properties first. Has the name of the meeting, the date, the time. You can change all of this stuff. The location, so the folder it resides in, and then the status. So the status is going to tell you whether this video content is available to the public or not. And so by simply changing the status from pending to public, what that does is, depending upon what folder this is in, so if I go to the archives folder, training videos, it will tell you what view page it's associated with, which is the training videos view page. And then this is like your live page, the winners. This is the Granicus page that you have on your website. So if I went to admin and to views, you can see there's the training videos, and then there's the winter CA. And if I double click on those, this one will tell you this is the training videos view page, and then this is the winters view page. So this will have your meetings, information, and minutes if you have them. And your last meeting was the 21st. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. So after Tuesday's upcoming meeting on the 18th, council will approve the minutes from December 21st, and I'll upload them.
Perfect. Yep. And so they'll be there. And then your video for the 18th, you said the 18th?
Yes, we meet on Tuesday the 18th.
Yeah. So and then the video will be here, your agenda, your packet, and your video, and then your minutes for the 18th will be approved in the February.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So for the training videos, this is all the training videos here. And some of them are the AV tests and whatnot. So this is obviously not public facing, but you have access to this. So if you ever need to look back at any of this stuff and review it, you certainly can.
Right.
But the folder tells you what view page the folder is associated with. So for example, your other two folders, Planning Commission and City Council, if we go in to edit the folder, it just tells you the view page it's assigned to.
Oh, okay.
And so if you need to change it or add it to both, you can do that certainly too. It's just whatever content is public facing is the important part.
So if we were to start or wanting to upload other committees and commissions, I would hit new archive folder to put their agendas and minutes and everything. It's less important to have their videos, but just their agendas, minutes, and packets. If we wanted to move all of our committees and commissions into one place, then that's where I would do it all.
Yep, exactly. So this would be like Parks and Rec or what have you, and then you would assign it to the winters folder. And then as soon as you start getting archives in that folder, then they'll start showing up on the web page.
Beautiful.
All right. Okay, so we're going to work here in the training videos folder. We're going to work in the meeting for 1.5. And when I click edit, it's going to take me into that basic file properties. Now, when I mark it as public, again, that is going to now display here on the view page. changing that status from public to pending or to not public, both mean the same thing. At one time, they meant something different, but I don't remember that long ago. So if now you can see when I unpublic or when I make it not public or pending, it removes it from the view page. Okay, so typically when the video is done recording and uploading, it ends up in a pending status. And then what I do typically is I'll go through and I will do the post-meeting processing, which means checking my timestamps, all of the information to make sure it's valid here. So I go through and you can stop me if I did this before. If I didn't, if I did this before, I apologize. So basically I start the video, right? And then I click onto the items as they're called. You can see there's the covert disclaimer. Do you actually read the disclaimer to people at the beginning? Yes. Okay, so the mayor reads it, right? Okay. This is why we're doing this. We're doing this via Zoom. We'll be doing things via roll call vote, right? Is that the disclaimer? Okay, cool. So the mayor starts the meeting essentially by doing that, right? So that's the beginning of the meeting. Now you can see the timestamp is 9:47. That means 9 minutes and 47 seconds after we hit the record or the start button in Live Manager, the disclaimer was given. Now you can see that's quite a bit of tape or quite a bit of airtime, right? Between when we started it and when the meeting was called. So this is technically the beginning. Now, if we know that the beginning, maybe we got this wrong and it wasn't at 9:47. Hey, there you are over there. So if we knew that it wasn't 9:47, maybe it was a little bit before 9:47, we can use the scroll bar to scroll back and forth. We can also use, sorry, this little thing here, this thing that separates the page in half. I call this the window shade. Sometimes it's a little temperamental. It allows you to roll up or roll down. Here, there's an option where you can actually type in the time you want. So if I said I wanted to jump to 09:30, I could simply type in 9 minutes and 30 seconds here and hit enter on my keyboard, and it'll jump me to 9:30 in the video. Okay. And likewise, you could use the scroll bar to scroll back. And let's go back a little further. I'm trying to see where you were there. I think you were somewhere around the 7 minute mark. Maybe. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Well, okay, there you are. So let me see if I can get you coming in there.
I'm a ghost. I just appear out of
5:30. All right, you're already seated at 5:30. 5 minutes. And so here I see you walking in. So I'm going to say that's when you're calling it to order. So there we go. And I'm going to save my changes. And now that's at 5:04.
Okay.
So that's the beginning of the meeting, essentially. Then we go into, maybe then they give the Zoom instructions. And you can timestamp an item after the fact if you didn't timestamp it during the meeting.
Got it.
Then we have our roll call. So as we double click on the item, it jumps to that spot in the meeting. And if that's correct, you just move on to the next. If it's not correct, you can use the scroll bar or the go to find the spot you want, update the timestamp, and then just hit save changes, and that updates the timestamp here. What you're really doing here is you're updating the timestamp for essentially for your constituents, but it could be for yourself as well.
Right.
Here we did 2 roll calls, and if we did one by mistake or one not by mistake, again, we can remove one or the other, just depending upon which one is correct or which one is incorrect. This one I'm going to say is incorrect. I'm going to go ahead and delete this addition, this extra roll call that we did. So anything you do during the meeting, you can fix after the meeting. And so now we marked Harold and Pierre absent. If that's correct, we'll just move on to the next one, which is the pledge. And if the pledge is okay, here we have our led by the mayor, approval of the agenda. And then we have our motion to approve the agenda. So if we had a motion to mover, seconder to approve the agenda as presented by the following roll call vote. If we were listening to this and we actually had Jesse actually moved the item and Wade seconded it, but during the meeting, I couldn't tell who went which way.
Right.
I could come back here and say, oh, it was Jesse and it was Wade. And then I just save my changes and that updates the mover and seconder. And then also, if I need to change anything in the motion text, I can type that in and change that as well. Same thing for the vote. Approve the agenda as presented by the following roll call vote. We had 3 yeses and 2 absents. And then we would just move on to the next section. So staff reports or comments, we didn't have any, so we didn't take any. However, if we did miss that and staff report or comments were coming up now, we could simply watch the video, click onto the get from player, and that takes the reference point from the player and populates it into the timestamp. You can see as I click it, it just goes up in relation to here. You can pause the video, so 12:53. And if I hit that, it takes that reference point and populates it. And then if I hit save, now an item that didn't have a timestamp does. If you want to remove a timestamp, so for example, for council staff comments, if we didn't actually have any, and you don't necessarily want that as a jump to point, you can just simply backspace or delete over the timestamp and hit save changes, and then that removes the timestamp.
So for the time being, since we still don't have our AV set up properly, if I import my video as the Zoom video, will I be able to timestamp it still on the back end, or will I be unable to do that?
Nope, you'll be able to do that.
Okay.
I'll walk you through that. If we've got time today, I'll walk you through that. Otherwise, well, I'll send you the instructions on how to do it anyway. But I would say we'll do another quick meeting if that's okay with you, if we run out of time, and I'll show you how to do it. It is a little, I mean, it's easy to do once you know the steps, but it's a little cumbersome, at least at the first part, trying to figure out exactly what you're doing.
And I think we have probably at least one prior meeting, if you wanted to use one of those as an example, that I have imported the Zoom meeting in from. That would be pretty easy to just go through the agenda and just add the timestamps that way. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you could totally do that. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Any questions on adding or removing or editing the timestamps?
I don't think so. It's a lot. I think it's what I kind of expected, but it just looked like I was going to mess something up really badly. So I was afraid to do anything.
Okay. Okay. So we have our motion to adopt the consent calendar, and then our vote to adopt the consent calendar, and then as we all go through everything, eventually we have our adjournment and the adjournment.
I remember when we were doing this, and maybe it's just the other one that we actually did it. 6H is still showing up in the consent calendar, but we had moved it to discussion. So how should that actually appear if it was moved?
Okay, so I don't remember if I'm, oh, there it is. Okay, we did it twice. So I think we bookmarked it here and then we moved it. So it's here. So what I would do then, here's a good example of that. So 6H, what I would actually do is I would take, if this is not correct, and it's not in the right spot, right? It's supposed to be down here.
Right, they pulled it from the consent calendar and moved it to discussion.
Right, and the timestamp is actually 27:24, so we know that. So if I copy the timestamp, go down to 6E, or excuse me, 6H down here, and I paste the timestamp in here. Now I have 6H here. Now there's also 2 notes that are associated with 6H that I don't want associated with this item. I want them associated with this item. Mm-hmm. So to move them, this is where it gets a little tricky. Because these 2 notes are tied to 6H, 6H is the parent. So we're going to remove them from the parent. We're going to bring them out and then we're going to attach them to this parent.
Okay.
So to do that, we use these good little funny little arrows up here. So I'm going to grab one, I'm going to grab another. Drag and drop would be great, but unfortunately, it doesn't let us do that. So really awesome. So here I've grabbed my two, I've moved them out into the parent or into the margin, I guess. And then I'm going to move them down until I get them to the spot that I want. So I click to highlight and move it down. Same thing here with the Mayor Pro Tem. I'm going to move it down to item 8, and then I'm going to move it in. So there's one for item 8, and then here's the other one for, or sorry, item 6A or 6H. Gosh, can't speak today. And then I put these, okay, they're in order. So 2802, 2856, and the item was taken at 2724. So just looking at the timestamps, I'm putting them in order. Now, if I want to get rid of this one up here, because it's a duplicate, right? I can just click on the item, hit delete item, and delete items. Oh, okay. That's what I thought. That's what I thought I should have done, was delete the attachments as well.
Okay.
So the sub items was what I should have clicked the box. But I can delete them individually as well, just by clicking highlight, yes, click, delete, yes, click, delete, yes. So now I have E, F, G, and then I, then our motion to adopt, excluding 6H, our vote to adopt, and then, and in A, excuse me, in 8, we have A through E, then 6H, and then we move into city manager's report. So you can see, based on the activation point or the timestamp, we're in the order that we took the items. Okay, cool. So we know the meeting started when they did the covert disclaimer at 5:04, and we know that they adjourned the meeting at 9:45, but we know the activation point is at 30:45. So what we want to do is trim off the dead air in the mid on either end, right? So we want basically a gavel to gavel meeting. We don't want any of the dead air on the front or the dead air on the back. To do that, we go to the trimming tab, and we're going to take our first item, or our start time, which is the time that the first item was called, and we're going to use this get from selection button. Now that takes the timestamp from the selected item that we highlight in the bottom and populates it into the field here.
Okay.
Same thing for the adjournment. So we know the adjournment happened here at 30:45. That's the end of the meeting. So we highlight that, click get from selection, and that populates the stop time at the end. So what we're doing here is we're trimming about 5 minutes and 3 seconds off the front. And then whatever is the excess behind this, 30:45, we have 31 minutes is the entire video. So probably not too long off the back end. So again, we grab the first item, get from selection, we grab the last item, get from selection, and then we trim the video.
Okay. I think I did it differently the last time I did it. I did it a really weird way, I think. So if you get from player, you would just press play and watch for the spot that you want the video to start and end, correct?
That's right. So if you went here and then you said get from player, you could do that. The reason why I did it this way is because I've already gone through and checked all the timestamps. So you're just kind of duplicating work at that.
Right. And I didn't check the timestamps for that meeting because I was afraid to break anything. So I just wanted to trim the video down. It was when we did like a first really bad test, and the first 30 minutes of the recording didn't have any audio. So I had to cut the trimming down to where the audio started. And then at the end, staff met afterwards to discuss issues. So I had to cut that part off the back end because I hadn't canceled it. It was just a hot mess.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, either way, I mean, again, either way you want to do it, it does the same thing. I mean, or you get to the same place either way. Some people do the trimming first, then they go in and adjust their timestamps. I go in and adjust the timestamps because if I do the trim wrong, all I need to do is pull back the badly trimmed video and then do it again.
Right.
Whereas if you do the trim first and then you go through and then you mess up the trim, or well, I don't know. That's just the way I do it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You can do it any way you're comfortable with.
Right.
Okay, so I've got my start point, my end point. I'm going to go ahead and hit trim file. This is going to trim as your clip is trimming. This is going to take a while. Check the status later using the method below. Now, this is pretty silly, but it says check progress here. When you click on here, this will take you to the folder that you're working in. It will show you that there is a file that is trimming, what the status of it was prior to the trim. And you'll see a little refresh to see if the status has changed. You can keep hitting refresh. Now you don't have to hit this refresh. You can hit the browser refresh, or if F5 is a refresh on your keyboard, you can hit that. This is typically, I'll go get a glass of water or something while I'm waiting for this to happen. It should happen fairly quickly. The file size should not matter that much. Not like uploading. Uploading, the file size really does matter because you're literally pushing data up the pipe.
Right.
Here, you're just basically you're doing it all over the web. You're sending a request to trim the video. The video is being trimmed up in the cloud. So it shouldn't take very long. I always say that, and then okay, there we go. I always say that, and then it takes longer than I expect.
So hypothetically, with the system we're currently using, not utilizing the encoder for our AV and not utilizing the live manager for minutes, best practice, I'm assuming, would be after a meeting concludes to not make it public because it would take a while to upload the video.
Well, the video won't be public until it's completed its upload. So
right.
whether you say you want it to be public immediately after the upload's done or pending, it doesn't really matter. I mean, well, it does matter because if you make it pending, it won't be available to the public until you flip the switch manually.
Yeah, I guess what's weird is that wouldn't I want to trim the video and post it and then, oh, this is weird. I'm trying to figure out how to say it. I would want to trim the video and have it posted, but my minutes wouldn't be posted until they're approved by council, technically.
That's right. That's right. So, yeah, so you'd want to post the video much the same way. Oh, wrong one. So
maybe I'm just making it more complicated than it needs
to
be.
No. So you want to post the video just like you did with December 21st.
Right.
Prior to doing your minutes, because your minutes aren't going to get approved until January.
Right.
Once they're approved in January, you're going to go back to the December 21st and publish your minutes. And
that's why you're able to, I'm sorry, if you go back to your archives and go to an example, you can make public the agenda video and packet, but not make public the minutes till later.
Correct. Yep. Correct. The minutes process is an entirely separate piece, and that's by design, because we assume you're not going to have your minutes ready right away.
Right.
Even though your minutes might be ready right away. And we do have clients that do draft minutes. They'll actually post draft minutes or an action summary of what happened or transpired during the meeting while they're working on their extended minutes or whatever, summary minutes, whatever they call them. But they may post something, just the actions, like this one's passed, this one failed, this one passed, this one failed. And it will go into that minutes column if you want it to. And you can post anything you want in that minutes column.
So I'm wondering if then you can have two, I mean, it wouldn't make sense to have two separate templates for your minutes. If I chose to stick with HTML and have a draft template and an approved by council template, or how could I mark my minutes as a draft when I upload them, if I wanted to upload them before they're approved by council?
Yeah, you just name them as draft.
Draft, okay.
Yeah. So I'll show you how to do that. So here's our meeting, test meeting for training. I'm going to go back over to my view page. So no test meeting for training listed here for January 5th. So I'm going to mark this as public. Hit save. And now over on my view page, if I refresh this page, there's my test meeting for training, duration, agenda. I guess I didn't publish the packet, and video, but no minutes.
Great.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the minutes. So for the minutes, we're going to move from the agenda tab, and you can see the trim took place. This is now 0, where it was 8 minutes something before. Cool thing is we can check to see if we actually got it right. I should see you walking here. So I know I got the trim right. And then the end of the meeting, I can double click on that and it'll take me to the end of the meeting. I probably should have had something a little more dramatic at the end of the meeting to show you that. However, but that's okay. So we know the meeting worked, the trim worked, all that sort of stuff. So now we're going to go into the minutes. And to create an HTML set of minutes, we're going to click new. The process is the same whether you're using Word or HTML, but we just click new. We're going to name the document. So in this case, I'm going to name it draft minutes. Generated HTML. And I'm going to go ahead and click on create document. So this will create a document. And if I highlight this, you can see it says published no, default no, and the source is HTML. If I double click this, it launches the word minutes. And you can see all of the timestamps associated with this. So here's my COVID disclaimer. And if I click onto this, this should launch a video. And I should see you here coming into frame. And then your Zoom instructions, your roll call. So all of the timestamps that we did are all here, and they all jump to those specific spots.
Got it.
This is going to be your agenda over here to the right. And this is for your constituents. So the same thing as what I'm doing there. If I click here on video, I'm going to launch the video. I'm going to have my agenda over here. I click play. Getting tired of watching, you're getting tired of watching yourself. So yeah, so that's, basically that's it. So we've got the meeting published, it's ready to go. Your agenda and your packet, if we published it, would be there. And now we're going to work on those minutes. So if I double click again on the minutes, this opens up the HTML, what I call the HTML view of the content that's in this archive. So it has,
which was generated from the media manager.
Exactly. Yep. So all of the information in here. So on a motion by Jesse Lauren, seconded by Wade, to approve the agenda as presented by the following roll call vote. Motion unanimously passed 3-0. It gives you the yeses, and then we didn't have any no's. Let's see if I can find another vote. On a motion, so this is the consent, right? 6, yeah. So consent, these are all the consent items. On a motion by Wade, seconded by Jesse, to adopt the consent calendar. Okay, so here I'm seeing, just by looking at this, to adopt the consent calendar, the is capitalized, consent calendar isn't. Went on a roll call vote, excluding item 6, motion passed unanimously. So let's say I just wanted to change the way this looks. And normally what I do is I have this in another screen. Zoom is so fun that I can't show 2 screens at once. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to 6. I'm going to go down to the motion. And here is where I had, the consent calendar. So I'm going to change that to lowercase t, uppercase C, went to a roll call vote, excluding 6H.
I don't know if you have this on your other screen or if Zoom's being delayed, but I did not see what you just did.
Oh, sorry. No, so all I did, sorry, what are you looking at right now? Can you see
I have the HTML screen. Okay, there you go. Now I can see what you did.
Okay, sorry, I didn't realize it was that big of a lag. All I did was I changed the capital T to lowercase t, and I changed consent calendar capital C, capital C.
So you went to the back into the agenda area.
Right. Yep. So archives, agenda, in here into this, they call this the metadata. This is the data. And then the data is there, and then this is the display of the data.
They should really call it media manager information because that's where it's pulled from.
They should call it that, yes. The reason they call it metadata is because the data that we take can be displayed in HTML, it can be displayed in Word, it can be displayed in whatever format.
I think that's where I was getting confused though, because I was like, why would I have to mess with the agenda? The agenda is the agenda, but it's because the agenda after a meeting is the media manager information.
Yes, media manager archive information. Really
so confusing.
Yeah. And really it's the minutes information, but I don't know why it takes you to the agenda tab rather than the minutes tab. It's a UI thing that they'll never fix, so I don't really know. So here I'm going to go ahead and save my changes here in the media manager side, and then if I go back to the display, and I'm going to refresh my screen here. Perhaps how do I do this? Let's see. Used to be able to just hit right click reload, but let's see. 8B, 8C. Oh, here. Oh, sorry. I guess I refreshed it. I didn't realize it. To adopt the lowercase consent calendar uppercase. So all I did was just change that and then refresh it. Same thing for the notes down here. None. And let me know if you can actually see that I'm in the media manager side yet.
Not yet.
Almost there.
There we go.
Okay. So none, bold, italicized, underline, straight through. You can insert hyperlinks. So if I save it over here, and again, typically what I have is my other screen has the display over here. And so now you can see the none, and let me know when you can see that so I can.
All right, and then you just refresh it.
And I just refresh this, and now you'll see it's bold, italicized, strike through. Now none. Yeah. So the great thing about HTML is that it lays things out really organized. Your notes are this way, your motions are a certain way. Here I can see the meeting adjourned at 9:45. I didn't put in the little colon. I'm going to go down 9:45. Whenever you let me know when you can see that.
Oh, okay.
And then, so I just hop back into Media Manager, put in my colon between 9 and 45, and then save changes. And then I pull up the display and refresh it.
So really, if you wanted to, as you were going through adjusting your timestamps, you could have made all these changes as well.
Absolutely. Yep. And I try to do about 95% of the stuff while I'm doing that, just because I know roughly how it's going to look on the display. But some of the things like caps and punctuation and things like that, I won't really know until I actually look at it and see what it looks like. But if you do most of it in here before you do your trim, then this part is really simple because all you're doing is just.
Okay, so yeah, sorry. Tuesday, for example, I probably won't be able to be in Chambers to use the media manager. So I could hypothetically create an HTML minutes and do all the media manager stuff on the back end if I really wanted to.
Yep. So, So if you have, you publish the agenda and the packet, you can actually create an archive prior to the meeting and actually start in on your minutes. It's a little bit odd, but the system does allow you to do that.
Okay. Yeah, because then I can just put in the standard text like motion by, and then I'll just have to add in the names and the timestamps after.
Yep.
And
which
then would be more cumbersome, and it would take more time than just using my external Word minutes. But then I can show Kathleen the difference between our HTML minutes and our Word minutes, and the HTML minutes connect to the timestamps of the video. So there is benefit.
There is, but again, if you have to reinvent the wheel, it's not worth it.
Right.
Yeah. So, but any questions on just creating an HTML minute stuff?
No, that's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
And I think if we're talking having to download with the Word and deal with IT and stuff, I think that my predecessor made the right choice in why even go there when really our alternative is uploading Word minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, our Word minutes wouldn't have the timestamps, but that's nothing that the community isn't used to already.
Right.
The HTML would just be an upgrade because it would include timestamps.
Yep.
So I think I would rather stick with what I'm comfortable with and just learn this HTML and feel pretty confident in that
Yep.
before jumping into something crazy like getting IT involved.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the why. I think that's the reason why they went with it before, just because it didn't require IT to get involved. And I think that was a good thing at the time anyway.
I think it's still a good thing.
No, okay, yeah. Okay, so now we have our HTML minutes, right?
Right.
Now the other thing is you could cut and paste this into something else too if you wanted to. The timestamps probably wouldn't work, but you know, it has anyway. So you could cut and paste it into something else. I have clients that do that. Most of my clients will do this. They'll right click, or sorry, they'll oh, what do they do? Let's see. Print or save as, file save as. But in my case, if I did print, mine prints to Microsoft, yeah, sorry, Microsoft print to PDF. So I hit print to PDF. I'm going to call this, where is this? This is minutes. January 5 was the meeting date, 2022. Enters and save. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and go into Peak. I'm going to go over to Peak, and then I'm going to create an item for my next agenda. So create new agenda item. I haven't published anything because I got to get it approved by council. So I'm going to say this is the minutes for January 5th, 2022. Suggested action might be adopt the minutes. Item type would be minutes. So submitting department, who the drafter is. Let's see if I was still in here. Yeah, I am still in here. Okay, so Mike, and then meeting body would be city council. Meeting date would be the next meeting date, which would be February. Agenda section would be consent. And then
upload the PDF.
And then I upload the PDF. Yep. So where's my minutes? Nope, that's not it. Let's see. Documents, downloads, printers, boom. So now upload, create. Now I'll remove this, obviously. If I go view agenda for February 1, you can see there's my minutes for January 5th listed there. And then I can go ahead.
Makes total sense.
Perfect. And you would just follow along with everything else. Once these minutes are approved at the February 1 meeting, I'm going to go ahead and remove this. I did show you how to remove items, right? Not deleting, but removing.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So remove and save. And I'm going to delete that item too. So if I go to items, I should see something in not scheduled. There's my minutes for January 5th, which is a bogus thing. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit the trash can and delete. Now we don't have that one out there anymore. Assuming the meeting goes as planned, the minutes get approved as designed. I'm going to go back over to the platform or media manager. I wish they would change that because media manager is what everybody uses. Archives. I'm going to go into my archive, which is this one. Edit. I'm going to go to the minutes. And I'm going to highlight this. And if everything's cool, I mean, if they want me to make changes, like let's say, hey, I noticed, what did I notice? I had some, oh, the strike through here, none and the strike through. Hey, can you fix that? That looks stupid. Okay, yeah, sure. So you can come in here, go to wherever that was. You know, I don't remember. Oh, there we go. Presentations.
None.
I'm going to take off the bold, the italicized, the underline, and the strike through, and save. Go back over here. Whoops. Go back over here and refresh my screen. And now my none is now just none. Let me know when you can see that.
Now I see it.
Okay. Also, I noticed this other one on a motion by, seconded by, and this is nothing here in 8A. I'm going to go over to 8A. Dang it, keep hitting the wrong button. 8A. Where is my 8A? So 8 discussion items, 8A, motion. Mover, no seconder required. Okay, that's interesting. You always require a seconder or no?
Yeah, we always require one.
Okay, well, let's put in bill, adopt, receive and accept. Put in free form, receive and file. There we go. I'm going to remove receive and file the edible food recovery study.
Lovely SB 1383 related topic.
And then I am going to refresh this page.
And
There
now
we go. On a motion by Wade, seconded by Bill to receive and file the recovery capacity study and funding assessment. Wow, for Yolo County. Great. So now I've got that in there. And very good. So now I've got my, everything looks kosher as far as I'm concerned. Minutes. Now, if I publish the draft minutes, so I'm just going to highlight it and I'm going to hit this publish button. You can see now it says published, yes. Yep. Okay. And then if I go over here to the training videos and refresh my screen,
it'll say draft minutes.
Yep. And if I click on the draft minutes, the HTML opens up.
Perfect. And then you would just go back in, edit it, change the name.
Yep. So then we're going to click edit. And instead of draft minutes, we're going to call it final minutes or posted minutes or whatever, and just hit update document. And now that says published, yes. And again, if we go over to our training videos page and refresh our page, instead of draft minutes, it says final minutes.
Perfect.
Now you can upload multiple documents at the same time. So let's say
you can create multiple archives for the same meeting, correct?
You can create, oh, I'm sorry, you can create what?
So for that one meeting I was referencing that I trimmed the video, I uploaded 2 different videos, I think.
Yeah, you can have multiple archives. Yeah, you can have multiple archives for the same one. One that you said had the full audio and one that had the full video.
One was the Zoom and one was the media manager, like actual AV side of things, so that they could see that we were trying to make the hybrid work, even though it wasn't.
Got it. This was our attempt, and this was what actually came out of it.
Right.
Got it. Cool. So let's say, for example, you wanted to upload, just like you said, I've got my Word minutes. I want to use those. I'm going to go ahead and hit new. We recommend those Word minutes, you do convert them to PDF, just because when people click onto them, they don't have to look for or search for, if they're using a Mac or something, they don't have to find a file type to open up Word.
Right.
But what you would do is simply click, which you're already aware of, uploaded file. I would browse for an uploaded file. I'm going to find, well, I'll just use this one.
And I always forget to name it, and it yells at me every time.
You always what?
I forget to name the document.
Right. Oh yeah, that says please name your document. Yeah. And then I'm just going to, just for the sake of, I'm going to call it uploaded minutes, just so you can see the difference. I hit create document, highlight and publish. And now if I go over here, you'll see a little drop down window. Final minutes, uploaded minutes.
I kind of like that.
So you can select whichever one you want. In this case, it's the same.
Right. But the one would be the HTML, the other would be the PDF. That's the final that council adopted. That's
right. Yep. So this is the HTML one. The other one is the PDF or uploaded ones. So whichever one you want, or both. And you can have as many documents in here. I think you can have up to 5 or 6 documents. Some
Okay.
people upload like transcripts, some people upload a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, I think we would probably, the only other thing I could think that we'd have to upload is if we received written public comment after the packet was posted, we may put those there.
Yeah.
But that would
So-
kind of be a random thing.
Yeah, so if you have public comment, yeah, if you have public comment that comes in, you could say new public comment or whatever you want to call it. Browse whatever document you want. Well, let's use an Excel. No, let's use, I don't know. Here we go. I'll just grab this one and create document, public comment, publish. Now you can see all three are published. Go back over to my view page here, refresh. And then public comment. Maybe not. Let's see, public comment. Minutes. Comment. There we go. All right. Sheesh. Okay. Well, okay. Got it. Third time's the charm. So there's my public comment document.
Perfect.
And, yep. What was the other thing I wanted to mention? Oh, this default. So this default no. What that simply means is when you go over here and you click onto the video, typically when you click onto the video, you'll have the video over here.
The agenda.
The agenda. Now, if you want the minutes to be the default document over here, that's when you click on to the default. So over here, I could say, I want my final minutes to be the default. I'm going to click onto it, highlight, and hit default. And you can see it says default, yes. Now, if I go back over to, sorry, go back over here and go to the video. And when I launch the video,
Shows the minutes.
shows the minutes. And in this case, it was the HTML minutes I selected, but I could select the PDF or I could select that public comment document. And I can toggle up here at the top between my minutes or my agenda.
Perfect.
So that's an extra step. You don't necessarily have to do that because most people that are looking at the minutes go here to look for the minutes. They want the video, they go here. But it does give you kind of one-stop shop. And as we looked at here, if I click on presentations, it'll jump me to presentations.
All right.
So
Well, this was very helpful.
good. So I didn't get to go into the word add-in, but if you're not going to bother with the instructions, it is a cumbersome process. So
I was going to say, if you have general instructions for us to have on hand so that if in the future somebody else is watching this training, they're like, they didn't go over it, and I can save it in a file.
yeah, I'll actually go over it and show you how it
Okay.
works because we've got about 8 or 9 minutes here.
Okay.
So okay, so I'm going to grab the same archive. And I'm going to open up Internet Explorer. So here's where the fun begins. I'm going to go to Internet Explorer and I am going to open in administration mode. So there's an option run as administrator when you open up Internet Explorer.
Your computer's thinking on my end.
Oh, sorry. Moving it. I think I just opened it in the wrong spot.
All right.
So here's Internet Explorer. So you go to Internet Explorer, right click, open, run as administrator. And then I'm going to cut and paste. I'm just cutting and pasting just so I can jump directly to that archive. But again, you would log in, username, password. Okay, username, password. Sign in. Yes, I'll save it. Okay, so I'm in that archive. I'm going to go to minutes. I'm going to go to new. I'm going to name, let me know if you can, am I there
Yeah,
where you see?
you're there.
Okay. I'm just going to call this word minutes. And I'm going to select this word integrated option.
Okay.
I'm going to hit create document. And I'm going to sit here for like 10 minutes. I'm kidding. I'm going to sit here for like longer than I want. Because what it's doing now is it's going in and it's compiling all the information down here in the bottom portion of the screen. It's opening up Microsoft Word and it's populating that information into that Word document.
Right. And this is where you were saying for this, you don't get the immediate satisfaction of seeing the change, basically.
Well, the change that you do only resides in this document. The change does not change, or I should say, there is no change. If you make the change here, it doesn't correspond with the information here.
Right.
Which is another reason why I don't like it, because if that document gets lost for whatever reason, you would have to go back in and totally recreate it. And
yeah,
what I like is that all the data is in here. All you're doing is just exporting it into HTML or whatever
right.
other format you want.
Right.
The one thing I will ask if you want is in the HTML, I can have them put the
have the header.
Thank you. Yes, the header and your logo. Is that the correct logo, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll have them do that. So here you can see placeholder. I have to go in and remove this, but I'm in Word. So the cool thing is like, oh, you know, some of the things that you can do here, you can't do in HTML, like, oh, I want these in red, or I just want this in red. So those are some of the things you can do in Word, obviously, that you can't in HTML, because you'd have to create a whole line of code that says, if 6J, find the word report and everything following it and make it red.
Yeah.
So it's a big code loop that you would need to enter. But you know, again, it's pretty, right? Yeah. And then what the other thing is, obviously we would need to change this.
Yes.
Yeah. So
it's
but
now
you know, again,
or you can just leave it blank because it's been changing so much.
Okay. But okay, so what you would do here, so I've made my changes. I'm going to go ahead and X out. It's going to say, do you want the changes to be saved to Media Manager? I'm going to say yes. Then it's going to open up this little version notes, and I'm going to say updated stuff. And okay, it tells me my save's complete, brings me back into Media Manager. Click here when you're finished. And so there's my document. You can see the source is Word. Published, yes. No. Now, if I go to try and publish this, I hit publish. It's going to tell me Word minutes cannot be published. Word minutes must be published via Microsoft Word before this feature can be used. Okay. So I have to click on here, then click edit, then click open in Word. Opens back up Word. And you'll know you're using the word add-in because there's going to be a little Granicus tab up here that you wouldn't normally see in Word. And there's a lot of other plugins that do kind of similar stuff. I know there's some Word plugins for some financial software where they have their logo or whatever it is here. And then there's a couple of things that they're allowed to do through the plugin. And one of the things Granicus is allowed to do, one, is you can remove the hyperlinks. I don't know why you'd ever want to do that, but some people just want to print off and put it into a book somewhere. So they want everything in black and white.
We do that, but I would just copy and paste it from the HTML into my format in Word and edit it that way.
Right. And then, yeah, exactly. So there's easier ways to do it. And then publish. So the publish button here, you're publishing through Word as opposed to publishing through Media Manager.
Okay.
So when I click publish, it tells me minutes publishing complete. Go ahead and X out. And again, it brings up the little version notes, and I can say published minutes. Excuse me. And then now if I go back over to the minutes tab, you can see all of these are now published.
Okay.
And so again, if I go over to the view page, and refresh my view page, I should have a Word option, which actually automatically converts it to PDF. So this Word minutes, this will open, maybe, like messing things up here. Let's see, training videos, Word minutes. Ay, ay, ay. Here we go, Word minutes, public comment. Okay, public comment works. Word minute. Well, it should be there. That's what it
Okay.
should do. Also, same thing. Maybe that was part of it here. Minutes. Word minutes. All right, let me try one more time. One last time. We're gonna see if we get this right. Come on. Wow. Okay.
Because you're on Firefox and not Internet Explorer anymore?
Yeah, but it shouldn't matter that the view page, well, good point. But I was going to say the view page shouldn't matter. It should work with any browser. But
that would be silly.
Well, I've seen sillier stuff. Yes. Well,
I get the gist.
Yeah. So it should open up again as a PDF. Like, here we go.
There it is.
Jeez Louise. All right. So it only took me 20 times to get it right. But you can see it converted it to PDF. I don't have any hyperlinks in here.
Right. Everything's in red.
But I've got my colors that I want. So
perfect.
Cool. So questions?
I don't think so.
Okay. Let me just take a quick look here at my schedule. I just wanted to see. I think I have another meeting, but I think it's at 11:30. So I'm just trying to see if. Yeah, do you have another minute to go over the upload process?
Sure.
So, so you have your Zoom meeting, and your Zoom meeting is recorded outside of whatever. It's sitting on some desktop somewhere, right?
Right.
What you can do is you can upload that using the new video function.
Yes, I did that before.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to choose a file. And I'm going to grab a file, hopefully that I have that is not ridiculously long. Okay. So this one is a cat video. It's about I think it's about a minute long, maybe.
Yeah, the last one I had to upload, I think, was a 2-hour long meeting, and it took quite a while.
Yeah, and it'll tell you how long it takes. This is just cats, if you like cats. So it's just kind of, I don't know if it's America's funniest videos or whatever.
Perfect filler.
Right. So you've got your crazy cats here. I typically use this for doing the post-meeting processing when you've uploaded a video. So here's my video. It's called Crazy Cats, or yeah, Crazy Cats, minute 39. Now let's say, that's my Zoom meeting. Then let's say I want to go over to events, and I have an agenda for a previous meeting, like this one here, December 21st. I can go over here to this on the events tab, and I can say over here under actions, create an archive.
Right. I believe that's what I did. This is all sounding very familiar.
Now, when I create an archive, it's going to create an archive of today's day.
Right, because I had to change the date and time.
Yep. So let's say it was yesterday. So I'm going to say 1:10 and save. And I'm going to say City Council Zoom meeting. Or no, City Council. This is just the agenda. Okay. So I have all of the index points, or all of the information here from the agenda, but none of the timestamps or anything associated with it. I don't have any video either. With me so far?
Yes.
So now I've got the agenda information, which is actually an archive, but all the agenda information, or the soon to be minutes information. And I also have in the same folder This is, you can see there's no time length. So that's the agenda information.
Mhm.
And then that's my video. So this is the Zoom video. This is the agenda information.
Mhm.
I highlight both and hit swap videos up here in the top right. I don't know if my screen's caught up to
You're
you
good.
yet.
It's caught up.
Okay. Swap videos. It'll say, this will swap the video, file, duration, status, blah, blah, blah. Are you sure? I'm gonna say, yep. And now, city council agenda is 139 and this crazy cats video is nothing. So
Right.
I'm gonna delete the crazy cats. And then if I go into the city council agenda, edit, I'm gonna go to that agenda tab. And then I'm gonna hit the play button over here. And there's my cats. Right? My cats are going. Now, as the cats are going, I can hit get from player and I could say cats in water, roll call. And I'm going to say cats in cactus. So I'm still letting the video play behind me.
Right.
And I'm just saving the items as they come along. Let's see.
Right. This is adding in the timestamps on the back end.
Yep. So as you see something that you want, here we go, cat on a table. You're kind of getting the gist, right? This is going to be cat in the box, right? So I say cat in the box, but I think I just missed it. So cat in the box. Oops, not in the Bronx, in the box. Okay. Save my changes. Now, if I go back over here to cats in water, I'm going to go ahead and double click. You can see it jumps me right to the cats in water.
Right.
Cats in cactus.
Right. This is what I'll be doing on Tuesday.
Exactly. Cats. Yep. Cats on the table. Oops. Cats on the table. Cat in the box. Now, I missed cat in the box because I was a little slow. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to wait for it. And as soon as I see it pop up, I'm going to hit the get from player and update. And so now I've updated my timestamp and I'm going to get my cat in the box now every time I double click. And then you just go through the rest of the items. Now, if you had a motion, you would click motion, your mover, your seconder. So I'm sitting here listening, mover, seconder, approve. And in this case, this is going to be cat on the ceiling. That sounds dumb. Motion, cat on the ceiling, and then the vote will be the same.
Okay.
And so now, hopefully, cat in the box, and then motion on the ceiling, the vote, motion on the ceiling. So you kind of get the gist.
Yeah. So then after that, you would just proceed as normal.
Exactly. Yep.
Perfect.
And if you're really having a bad day and you like cats, you can watch this video and it's not bad. It does kind of, I'm not a big cat fan, but this is a pretty good video if you like. I mean,
All
you just want nonsense in your life. It's pretty good.
Duly noted.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I think we're good. I think we can hold off and see how I do like Tuesday, Wednesday next week with next week's meeting upload. And then if I face anything, I'll go ahead and contact you and maybe I'm not sure how much time we are still allotted or left with. If that more training still needed after that, or just any follow-up questions, I'll message you about them.
Yeah, just hit me up with whatever you need.
Perfect.
Now I did upload this one for the 21st, I think, because I didn't have the video. Oh no, this was the video. Okay, sorry. That's an hour 39. Sorry, I thought it was a minute 39. It's weird because my cat video is a minute 39 and that was an hour and 39 and it freaked me out a little bit. I'm like, did I upload the cat video on top of that nonsense? So I'm glad I didn't do that. Yeah, just let me know if things come up. Otherwise, yeah, well, let me know how things go anyway. So just let me know how that meeting goes. And if you just have any questions, we can just touch base for 30 minutes or something and just say,
Right.
like, if you just even want somebody to watch you go through the process, whatever you want to do.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. I'm assuming I'm probably going to hit a few things, and they might be things that we've already discussed, but once I go through it myself, I'm like, wait, this isn't adding up. But I'll reach out next week and we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I hope you feel better.
Thank you. You have a great week.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.